Dragonites. How's everybody doing this week? Did you have a nice Easter? What have you been up to? We have had a pretty quiet Easter around here, but the week has started out more or less okay, knocking on wood, because once you say it's okay, you know how that goes. Anyway, Finian's awake, so I thought you guys might like to say hey to the best dragon there ever has been and ever will be. Hi, Finian. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That picture in that phone looks like us. Yeah, it's us. Yep, Finn slept for almost a month, but he is awake now. So he wanted to say hey to everybody. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. So yes, he is getting ready, thanks to all of you who contributed to the GoFundMe. I can't thank you enough for doing that. His appointment with his vet is on May the 6th for his evaluation. So we'll be able to find out whether he's just kind of punky because he's an old man, because he turned 10 in March, or if there's something else we need to be doing. Huh, Finian? You're so handsome, though. So, yeah, he just wanted a chance to say hello to everybody because he's a good boy. And so I'm going to get ready over here down below to do the Wip N Chat for today. Finn's going to go right over there to that little window seat, which is his favorite place in the entire house. He gets to look outside the front of the house and see what everybody's doing. So he's looking forward to that. So yep, he just wanted to say hello to everyone. And you can hear Griffin, can't you? The needy chihuahua. Oh my goodness. Come here, Griffin. You better say hi to the people because you've been the whiny one. Here's Griffin. So Griffin and Finn. Yep. These are the boys, my two boys. Yeah. Fortunately, thank you. Yes, I love you too. Fortunately, they get along pretty well considering. But they'll sometimes lie on my bed and watch TV together. So, yeah, no accounting for taste, right? But they get along fine. So, anyway, these are the guys that sometimes you see Finian when he's not sleeping. And sometimes you hear the jealous chihuahua. There he is. Get your foot out of my shirt. Thank you. So there they are, my two boys. Kodak moment. All right, Dragonites. So let's get to the Wip N Chat. Say bye, guys. Bye-bye. See you later. Okay. Hi again, Dragonites. How is the world treating everybody? That is what I would like to know. I mean, you know, so far, so good today. I mean, it's a Tuesday, so I don't know what that says about the world. But anyway, this is the one I'm working on. I will show you that I did finish Feelin' Groovy's canvas, and I was quite pleased with how she came out. She was so much fun. I was so pleased with her. Yeah, I did substitute in 3 different drills. There are 4 or 5 that make up her hair, so I only substituted one of them that kind of gave outline to her curls because I didn't want to lose those in the drills. So there's one in a brown one. Then there's one pink that was a little bit in her dress, a little bit in her skin, and a little bit in her flowers. So that one also would stand out. And then the third one, was a very light blue, which was a little bit in the outline of her, a little bit in the butterfly, and a little bit in her dress. So that was it. Other than that, it says charted because I loved all the colors in this one. And I loved how sparkly. I don't have a light on you. Let me see if I can get a light on you guys, because I want you to be able to enjoy the sparkle if you possibly can. So yeah, no, there she is. Yeah, she was so much fun. I love the fact that, you know, this is a 40 by 40. And for this picture, it was plenty big enough. You can tell that she has eyeshadow on. You can see her eyelashes. You can see her little rosebud mouth, the shadow that is a nose. I mean, you can see all the detail that was important to the picture in this 40 by 40. So I was really happy about that because I didn't want her to be washed out when I was finished. This was the only size this particular one came in. So I was just really pleased that it turned out to be beautiful. And she really is beautiful. And I added the rainbow piano keys washi tape because, you know, feeling groovy, right? Figured we needed that. But yeah, she was absolutely so much fun to do. Just stunning. The only 310 was back here in the shadow area. The background was not, which I was really pleased about. So yeah, it came out to be really, really nice. I was very happy how she came out. So I do need to post her in the finished stack, feeling groovy, which I will do. But in the meantime, I wanted to let you guys know I'll be showing her again when I do the, I hope you can see that glistening, beautiful shine. When I do the month-end finishes, she will be among them. So you'll get to see her again. But yeah, I don't know what to call her. I've been trying to think of a name for her this entire time, and I don't know. I cannot think of one. So anyway, you guys let me know if you could think of a really good one. She looks a little like a Serena, but I don't know. Anyway, she was pretty and I really enjoyed her. Okay, so that was the Feeling Groovy event. Now, I'm also working on the Canada event for Sugar Ray Crafts. She did anything to do with dogs. And so I had this piece and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do this one and see. This is a, oh, hang on, let me tell you. This is a 40 by 50 canvas. And I know that Dak had this one way larger than this. I mean, way larger. But honestly, I'm really okay with how this one's turning out. It's turning out great. You can tell all the dogs have eyes. They all have between 3 and 5 drills that make up their eye color. So, you know, yeah. I was worried about this little dachshund down here, the one that's wearing the sweater, because I thought, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see him, but you know what, you can see him. Yep, and this one's got his little green sweater and his little green knit hat on. So yeah, I'm fine with how this is turning out. So I have only this last row to go up here. And I did start in the middle because this one had just a couple of drills that I substituted in some ABs. One of them, all of the dogs except one, I think, had all black, but all the other dogs had a brown in their eyes. And so I substituted one of the drills in the brown corresponding drills to be at AB, so they would have a little bit of sparkle. So yeah, and then the other ones, I didn't really, there's a little bit of a blue-gray one that there's a little bit. You can kind of see it here in this little thing on the roof next to the chimney. There's a little, a few in here of the kind of bluish-gray AB. And then I am substituting white ABs for the angel on the top because I want that to show up. So I took some liberties. This was not charted this way, but I purposely made sure that the wings and the halo and where the halo is shining on the dog's head were white ABs because I want there to be emphasis on the fact that there's angel wings there. Also the candle, I used some white and some yellow ABs just so it would show up. But that's really the only liberty I took was the white ABs that are going to be, because, you know, it's the top of the tree and it's angels. So, yep. So that's what I'm going to be working on today is this little thing, which I will be turning, hang on, don't get seasick. I'm going to be turning upside down because I'm working at the top up here. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll move you guys down here just a little bit. So yeah, let's see. You're gonna be able to see that okay, hopefully. Pretty much. Okay, so what is new and innovating with you guys? I will tell you that I'm getting ready to do a kit up video for, let me get this squared away here, for May's event, which is I Will Not Desert You. So if you want to sign up for that and you haven't done that yet, please do so. And the canvas requirements is just it needs to be a 30 by 30 or larger if you're doing a single canvas, or if you're doing a set of canvases, please do the whole set of minis for the event. Other than that, it's kind of, you know, whatever floats your boat. So yeah, so that's all there really is to that. If you want to sign up for all 4 of them, which would be I Will Not Desert You, Under the Sea, like Luna and Lichens, or Bella Luna, that's November, and then Our Better Angels / Have a Fairy Happy Holiday. You can sign up for 1, 2, all of them at your leisure. You're welcome to do that. But you know, please, for May's event, if you want to be in the I Will Not Desert You, there is going to be cutoff on the 25th. So as I'm filming this, it's the 22nd. So please get your information to me if you do want to do the I Will Not Desert You. Okay. I'll give you the roll call just to say we did it. That way I don't have to worry about, did I tell them who's already signed up? Okay, so the people who are signed up for I Will Not Desert You are Margie Grice, Crafty Chef Diamond, Nuck and Futz, Pampered with Diamonds, Jedi Master, Donna, Mike Weeks, Susan Downey, Scarlett's Little Crafty Corner, Diamond Artjoy, Melinda Hands, Roxanne Samuscott, Lyra Agosto, Sedona LeBlanc, Sugar Ray Crafts, Joanne Arnold, Missy Nelson, Snuggy's Crafty Corner, and True Vampire Crafts. That's Min's. Okay? So, and Neil and I, so that's 20 of us. So, yep, if you did not hear your name, I don't have you down. So please let me know that you are interested in signing up so that we get you on the roster before, sorry guys, before the cutoff in 3 days. So you can leave a comment or you can email me. Email is always in the description box. You can Instagram me if you really feel the need. You can do that. My Instagram is also in the description box. So that is what's happening. So yeah, hoping that you guys had a nice Easter. If you hung out with your family, I hope it went really, really well and everybody had a good time and ate a lot and had a lot of chocolate and, you know, yummy stuff like that. If not, if it was just kind of peaceful and quiet, hey, there's value in that too. We had a nice, peaceful, quiet Easter. So that was good because my kids and my grandkids live in other states and could not come home. So yeah, it was just quiet. I mean, the Easter Bunny, of course, brings my son Jared a basket, of course, because, you know, he has special needs, and I'm going to keep Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny alive as long as I can, because there are plenty of reasons to lose hope. So I want to give him the opportunity to keep hope alive just about as long as possible. So, and he's 29, so hey, so far so good, but woo, it's tiring some days, let me tell you. Some days I'm not as up to it as he is, but as long as I can, I'm going to. And then I will pay the piper when I no longer can. And we have to admit that, you know, it has been just his parents the whole time. But anyway, that won't be anytime soon. I hope. Although I've been feeling kind of punky the last couple days. So I don't know. I don't know if it's partially the weather. I don't know if it's partially, you know, stupid cough that won't leave. My pulmonologist did send me for some blood work and a chest x-ray. Chest x-ray I have not done yet. But, you know, it's on my list. I'll get it done eventually. And I did have the blood work done. There were a couple of kind of weird blood test results. So, and I don't see him till the end of next month. Now, you would think he would call me, since there's some results that he normally does not see in me ever. No, apparently not. So, I do have my annual physical tomorrow with my primary care doctor. So I'm going to take a hard copy with me, and I'm going to say, Doc, can you explain this, please? Because, I don't know, something's not kosher, and I'm really tired of feeling gross. Not really, you know, no more pain than usual, thank God, because, you know, my usual pain is more than enough. But just kind of, you know, tired and lack of energy and just kind of overall blah. Which, okay, which isn't fun. Nobody wants to feel blah and have no energy. But just, you know, and sleeping isn't enough. Like, it doesn't do anything to alleviate that. So, yeah, I don't know what that's about and what's going on, but I'm going to find out. Originally, I called him because I couldn't get rid of that cough. As you guys know, I've been coughing at you in videos for how long now? I couldn't get it to go away. I called him. I said, hey, you know what? I think I've ridden this virus as far as I can. I think I need an antibiotic because it's not leaving all the way. Something's going on. He then proceeded to tell me I had whooping cough. I said, I'm sorry, what? Oh, yeah, he'd had 4 patients in the last couple days. All of them had whooping cough. I said, you know what? Just because you had 4 patients doesn't mean that I have whooping cough. Do you hear me doing the stereotypical sound? No. And not only that, but, you know, I was vaccinated as a kid, and I had a DPT booster in 2018 because my 3-month-old grandson and his parents were living with me for a couple months, and I didn't want to accidentally give him anything. He goes, well, you know, they're only good for 10 years. I said, well, it's only been 7, okay? 2018, this is 2025, that would be 7. Well, he insisted on it. Okay, so he wouldn't give me the antibiotic. I'm like, One thing I don't like about doctors is that they don't listen to their patients. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some patients who don't know what they're talking about. I understand that there are, and I know it's frustrating for the doctors, but here's the thing. I have a complex medical history, and I've lived in this body now for more than half a century. When you disregard me when I tell you something about my body, whether it reacts a certain way, doesn't react a certain way, and I don't care what the books say, I have lived in this body long enough to know. So, yeah, just really, you know, don't just poo-poo it when I say that, because nothing makes me angrier than a doctor who just goes, yeah, well. It's like, well, don't yeah, well me. Like, you know, either help me or go away, but don't, you know, sit there and condescend, because that just adds fuel to the already smoldering embers inside my body when I have to deal with these people, because it irritates me to no end. And I mean, seriously, have you guys tried to make an appointment recently? If you have, then you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. So, I don't know. It's been an interesting few weeks, to say the least. But yeah, I'm so disgusted with the medical community. It's just not even. And I feel badly for those of you who work in the medical community, because, you know, the quality of care standard is so far down the pike that it's just really sad. And you guys work so hard, you know, and I know that you're the ones that get blamed, the CNAs, the MAs, the LPN, you know, all the people who are on the front line doing the work while everybody else looks at the, you know, test results in a different room. But you guys have to deal with the patients and their scorn. So I really feel badly. I appreciate every one of you, even though I get annoyed with the medical community. I am so thankful for medical personnel because, you know, you guys just shoulder so much of the burden of people, and you're in it because you really are trying to make a difference. You really do want to help people. So the fact that your bosses don't make it easy is, you know, a little bit frustrating. So yeah, I'm just really sorry that you guys have to endure all of that. I wish you didn't have to. But because really, where would we have been without the medical community when COVID was at its highest body count? I mean, seriously, they were our last best hope, right? So yeah, they deserve way more than they get. They deserve more pay. They deserve more accolade. They deserve more than what they're getting. So be kind to your nurses and your support staff because they don't have it easy, and the fact that they keep showing up to work is pretty seriously awesome. So all of that being said, so yeah, that's why you haven't seen very many videos this week. I've just been kind of, you know, not really sure, you know, if I was going to feel well enough or not. Today I was going to take a nap, and I decided, you know what, let me just get a video done because it's been a while. My Dragonites deserve better than this. So that's what's happening with that. So here we are. It's 70 degrees right now in my neck of the woods. How is it where you guys are? Anybody having sketchy weather patterns going on, or everybody's trying to break into spring? What's going on? I don't mind spring, but oh, after spring comes summer. God help us all. You know, I am not a summer person in any stretch of the imagination. I don't mind the sun being out, but the heat, no. Heat and I are not friends at all. So, not excited about that. And you know, Southern California, summer lasts here until the first week in November. So once it gets here, it never lets go, which also bums me out because ew. I'm going to say it again, ew. So I have been flourishing when the weather's been nice and cool. I love that. I don't love the rain, but I like it nice and crisp outside. Oh, best ever. So I'm liking it today because it's 70 degrees, but we had a day last week where it got up to 80 degrees. Red alert, red alert. Not happy about that. So that's kind of where that is. And I've been doing kind of extra duty with Finn because, you know, when he gets up after he's been in brumation, whether it's just for a couple weeks or whether it's for a couple of months, he's very slow to get back on his protein. So, you know, he'll get up, like the first day or two, he'll get up, he'll have water, maybe a couple of crunchy greens, and that's it. And then, you know, he'll keep on there. He never, you know, when I offer him feeders, he kind of goes, maybe not today, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, come on, Finn, you need to eat some actual crunchy goodness and have some feeders and, you know, get everything working back the way it's supposed to again. And yeah, he just could not care less. So I usually start him off, I'll give him a syringe where I will mash, you know, use some food supplement like carnivore care or omnivore care. Dragons can have either one, so I usually stock it. I was so glad. For a while you couldn't get it except at a veterinarian, but now Amazon's restocking it. I'm like, oh, thank God, because some of us have to, you know, blow through that stuff. So, and it's way less expensive at Amazon. So I usually mix up some carnivore care the first few days, and then I'll, make kind of a slurry of greens, and I'll add it to that. And then I'll add a little extra liquid calcium, a little extra vitamins, a little extra. So he's actually getting kind of a superfood when he first gets up to get everything going and get his energy level up and get everything going. So yeah, so today was day 2 of the supplemental feeding. And, he seemed okay with it. He's you can't fool him. You have to show it to him. You have to let him smell it. And then you have to promise him that there's no medicine in it, because otherwise he will not eat it. So after I do all of that and he finally opens his mouth enough to take a bite, then he's like, it's not bad. And then he eats it and it's all fine. But boy, he is a hard sell. So the last couple of times I've given it to him, I did the whole thing. Now this time I didn't have to give him any more greens. He's had greens. And so all you had to do this time really was go ahead and eat the carnivore care, which seems to have, I give the carnivore care instead of the omnivore care, unless they're not eating anything at all. If they're not eating anything at all, then I do omnivore, because they do need to have their greens as much as they need their protein. But he's not really that difficult to start back on greens. He's just hard to start back on the protein. And the dragons like the taste of the carnivore care way more than they like the omnivore care. So I'm going to give them the one they like the most if my goal is to get them to eat. If it's to supplement their diet, because maybe they're only eating their protein and they don't want any greens. Okay, well, if that's the case, then I have to add both so that he gets a nutritional balance. But right now that hasn't really been the case. He's been pretty okay with it. We just need to start the presses rolling on his protein intake. So he got to have just the carnivore care without the added greens. Oh, was he happy. He slurped it down like there is no tomorrow. So that's what's been going on. So he's doing his thing, but when I take him to the vet on the 6th, I am going to, ask her again about, hey, could you just, when you do the blood work, could you just make sure to check and make sure there aren't any vitamins or minerals that he's not getting that maybe he should be getting, just to make sure. But I don't think it's a shortage of anything. That's why I'm just wondering if it's age or if there's something atypical that's going on that's, causing this kind of a reaction in him, in which case we need to identify it and figure out what if anything is to be done about it so that he doesn't lose nutritional ground, because it's hard to get that back once you lose some of that. So hopefully we will find out and do the right treatment and he'll be back to his perfectly adorable self. I did take him with me when I went to get my nails done the other day, which was the day after he woke up, because sometimes getting him out in natural sunlight can boost everything, just totally boost it up. Well, didn't really boost him up too much, although he enjoyed it while he was out. He likes to go to outings, and so it's really his favorite thing on earth to do is to, go people watch. Let's go see what's going on. So I did take him, and he has a fan following. So everybody says, oh, it's Finn. Hi, Finn. Is he finally awake? I said, yeah, finally. Finn, it's so good to see you. It's that kind of a thing. So yeah, he eats that up because he loves it when people are talking about him and praising him and he just loves it. So everybody had to come say hi to him, which was good. And he got to look out the window. And then, just kind of watch everything be done. He finds it fascinating as she's grinding along on my fingernails. He doesn't quite understand the reasoning behind it, but he finds it interesting. So he had a good time. And then he came home and gave him some water and put him back in his tank. And he was fine. He hung out under his basking spot and got nice and warm and toasty. And then he went to bed early, so I knew that it kind of tired him out, but it was also, you know, good for him to get out and be part of the world while the weather was nice. I mean, this weather has been so crazy that, you know, when he woke up from the last time he tried to brumate, which was not even as good as this time, it's just been a terrible year for brumation. When he woke up the last time, the weather was crappy, so I couldn't even really take him out because it was too cold, but this time he got to go. So yeah, he was all happy as a clam about it. So yeah. So off we went, the two of us. Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a long afternoon, but it wasn't too bad. I always try to leave to come back up here where I live by 4 o'clock, because otherwise you have to go through the little crook of traffic, because you have to take an offshoot highway to come up here where I live, and so, you know, you have to get off of the freeway, come up the highway, and then up the hill. Well, if you wait until after 4, I mean, good luck. It's going to take you so much longer to get through just because of traffic than if you try to get up here before everybody gets out at 4. So that's what I do, is I try to time it perfectly so that I can be on my way back up here. Problem is, if there's a day where the pain's really bad, or if I really don't feel good, if I'm really kind of nauseous or whatever it is, and I don't get out of the house until later, it makes it hard to get back up here. And sometimes I just have to bite the bullet and go, okay, I'm going to wait in this traffic till I can get over to the off-ramp and go about my life. So yeah, you guys that have commute issues, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's a whole thing. But I timed it pretty good today, so there was no traffic. It was very light. Got on the highway, just had a nice leisurely drive, and came around the bend, got up the hill, and here I are. Finally made it home, so all positive. But yeah, we had more negative responses about help with our roof, so that's been irritating. I don't know, I've often wondered what has happened to this country. It used to be that you had a veteran, much less a veteran like Neil, who's, was in the U.S. Army for 21 years. They wanted for nothing. They could get what they needed some kind of way. Well, no longer. I mean, that poor man was in from Vietnam to Desert Storm and can't get a roof over his head. I don't understand it. I find it so incredibly frustrating. So, try as we might, and we are trying. When you've done the whole gambit that's available when they start referring to people that you've already talked to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's annoying, and I'm very fed up with it. So, I don't know what's going to happen. One of these rains are going to come, and the roof is going to cave in, and, yep, don't know. Guess we'll see what happens when it happens. Beyond annoying, though. I can't even with you guys. It's so maddening and so frustrating. I mean, do you have to hold your breath every time there's rain in the forecast? Because I sure do. I'm getting really sick of it too. We worked hard all of our lives, both of us. And then, he retired and my disability got worse. And so, we had to make arrangements because our life changed so drastically. Plus, constantly having to take care of Jared. And, so there was just a lot of things that happened within, I'll say about a 3-year span of time a while back. Just a lot changed all of a sudden. And so we had to kind of fly by the seat of our pants a little bit, but, you know, we did the best we could do. We made some important financial decisions. Tried to learn on how to run a life when you only get paid once a month. And let me tell you, those of you who get paid every other week or twice a month, you have no idea until you try to make it work once a month. And if you have something unexpected happens and you're out of money on the 10th of the month, that's too bad, because you have to wait till the 3rd of the next month before you get any more capital to work with. So that's going on. And now that there are some people in the political scene who are trying to get rid of that, oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. The fury is not even funny. So, and if that happens, I mean, that's just it. Our whole house caves in. So everybody in it too. So, we'll see. But, yeah, you know, we've always tried to do whatever we could, and, you know, been a taxpayer and all of that. And now you'd think we had leprosy. Nobody will even come close to looking at the roof. I'm like, seriously? And the ones that did, you know, it was crazy to me that, you know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it was 10,000 to 12,000. Now it's 22 to 25,000 for the exact same roof, the exact same kind of repair. Crazy, just plain crazy. So yeah, here we are, guys. So, that's what's going on with that. Yeah, it's been pretty peaceful, which has been kind of nice. Usually I don't have a lot of peace. Usually there's some stressor or another going on. Either there's a meeting I'm going to have to get to, or something's going to happen with Jared that I have to go deal with, or Neil's having some kind of medical thing, or I'm having a medical thing. And, you know, it's just a constant thing. I expected that by this time in my life, when my kids were mostly out of the house, you know, my other two sons, one's in Texas and one's in Florida, and, you know, raising their own kids. And I was like, okay, good. It's going to be a relief. I'm going to have time. Yeah, you know what? Nope. Big noper. So, I don't know. It's just been an interesting ride. That's all I can tell you. So, you know, we're making the best of it. We do the best we can. We don't travel. Hardly ever. Last time I went on a plane, which has now been, a long time ago, and you couldn't pay me enough to get on a plane right now. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to do it. But the last time I did, you know, I took my electric scooter that I always use when I'm out in the public, and went out to the plane, got down the little tunnel hallway, got onto the plane, and they took my scooter, and they said, you know, it has to fly in cargo. I said, okay. And they bent it. They bent the arm so bad it was never right again after that. And I thought, okay, that's not going to be a doable thing. We're going to have to just tell them we want a wheelchair from now on. I'm not going to have them bending my stuff. So that was beyond frustrating. And I told the airline about it, and they actually said, well, you got it back, didn't you? And I thought, was that a question? Because I didn't know I was up against that. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be something I'm going to do very often, you know, even in the future, because I don't want to have to worry about that, because if I don't have my electric scooter, I become a recluse, a hermit. So yeah, no, thank you very much. So, as much as I adore my kids, and I miss my grandkids so much, they're so adorable. Oh, love those kids. Like, I can't even tell you. Yeah, I'm not going to be on a plane. So, thank God for FaceTime. It would be really hard to have a relationship with them if I didn't have that. So, yeah, but don't we all do the best we can? I think we do. It's never easy. You know, my older son keeps telling me, oh yeah, don't worry, we're going to come home. You know, we're going to do, I said, are we really? Because how are you going to manage that? You know, now he's in a custody battle with one of the baby mamas. The first one, not so much a battle as he's trying to get his child support reduced, which it should have been reduced when he moved back to Florida, and he just never got around to it. So he's trying to do that now so that he can afford to survive too and, you know, be in their life. So, and he's just dealing with the baby mama number 2. And, you know, she thinks that this should be a whole thing, and it's not a whole thing. It's you know, it's a dissomaster. I mean, it's literally guidelines. You know, it's not even a, you know, you don't even bother to threaten, because it's not going to be that way. I mean, you know, they're both employed full-time and they have 50-50 custody, so I don't expect there to be much difference. So, and you know, how much is going to be paid one way or the other. My son's perfectly happy to do it, you know, which God love him. I think it's because, you know, he was, you know, a child of divorce, and, you know, his dad could not be bothered. He didn't think he should have to pay child support. I don't know why, but that's how he felt about it. And so I had to do the best I could with Neil's help, because that was it. So my wages and what Neil could forward to us for emergency stuff, you know, that's what we had to live on. So their lives would have been very different if we had had, you know, the amount of child support that was ordered by the court. It would have been much different. So that went on for a few years. And then I was relieved, actually, when he went on Social Security disability, because then Social Security took up the child support issue. So they got, you know, survivor benefits, because their father, who had a child support order, was on permanent disability. So thank God, because they were consistent. So yeah, it got much better for the kids after that. But, you know, they were all, you know, older kids by then. I mean, Devin, my oldest, actually aged out before we were finished. So, and Tyler got a couple years, and Jared got a couple years, and that was that. So, you know, which was fine. It's something we could work with. But yeah, it was fortunate that, you know, my second husband, Neil, was okay stepping up where their dad failed to do so, because, you know, my problem was between working all day, taking them to appointments all afternoon, and having services that came to the house in the evening. My ability to do anything else to afford to pay rent would have been just a no-go. So, but, you know, when Neil moved in and, you know, he could pay a percentage too, that made it better. At least we all had a roof over our heads, so it was good. But, yep. So if I had one thing to say, you parents who are supposed to be paying child support, but you really don't want to because you don't want to see your ex-spouse, you know, doing things with it that you don't think are right, please just pay it, because yes, they're supposed to be using it to cover your child. So, and if you don't think they're using it to cover your child, and you need to let the judge know, hey, why am I paying $300 a month for clothing allotment, and he's walking around in tatters? Okay, you have a gripe coming, so you can do that. But pay your child support. Hopefully it will go where it's supposed to go. And those of you who are getting child support from another parent, remember that they have to do without that. They have to figure that in their expenses for the month and try to live on the rest. So don't abuse it. Use it for its intended purpose. And, you know, if you're going to argue about it, don't do it in front of the kids. Wait till they are out of the house and then go to the phone and do it, because nothing can make a household more miserable than having to go over stuff like that. So just don't do it. Make your life better. Make your kids' lives better. Just, yeah, don't go there. So that's my sermon anyway. I know, sounding probably a little preachy, but I know it affects so many households. And there's pain and suffering around for all parties involved. And the only way for you to limit that is to do what's intended, okay? Both parents are supposed to support their kids. And, you know, if you know who that is and you've made it clear, hey, see this kid right here, this kid, and you need to figure some stuff out, and yeah, I need support, then that's what has to be done. So if you're going to have a child with somebody, understand that you are 50% responsible financially for that child along with their other parent for 18 years. So plan ahead and plan accordingly. And if you are the recipient, use that money for that child, okay? It's not meant for anything else. So it's meant so that they can, you know, have after-school activities and anything that they might need that your insurance doesn't cover. And, you know, all of those things are supposed to come out of that. So that's where it should go. It's not money for you, it's money for the child. If you are more than covering expenses, put it in a savings bond or put it in a savings account. So if they want to go to college, they have that option. So, yeah. And if that happens, then really neither party should have a gripe. It should all be done with. And then when the kids age out, you can talk about it later when you're visiting your grandchildren about who was the worst and who was the best. Because, you know, it's a moot argument, but if you really feel the need, there's better times than when you're in the thick of it to do stuff like that. So, yeah. And just remember, little ears hear you and are watching. Their little eyes are watching when you least expect it. They know what's going on. So please don't think you're keeping it from them, because you're not. At the very least, even very young children feel tension between their parents. So if you can't be civil during the exchange, you know what? Designate somebody's house that the exchange can happen, because you've got to be the adults in the room. And it's hard sometimes when you're really furious with each other, but please do it, because the amount of stress and strain that goes into that, it's going to affect your relationships later. They really will. I mean, once you get teenagers, then they'll tell you everything wrong with your whole situation, because, you know, they know everything. And you become really dense, you know. You're just so, oh my God, you're so uncool and you're so stupid for a few years. And then all of a sudden they end up paying their own bills and having their own children. And then you become a wise old sage for a time. So that's nice. Instead of being, now remember, you haven't changed at all, but you know, this is the way you'll be viewed. So yeah, it's a interesting turn of events when that all happens. So your relationship changes. Instead of being an active parent, you are a mentor, a guidance counselor, an advisor. That's the role. So, yep. Or at least that should be your role. Now, if your kid is 40 years old and you're saying good morning in the hallway because they are still living with you, don't know about that. I would say that's a concern. But anyway, I know how my kids reflected on it now that they're older. They're in their 30s and they have children. One is married and one is not. And so, but they take great delight in discussing how their time as children played in or did not play into the way that they parent, the way that they think, the types of things that they want to pass down, the types of things they do not want to pass down. So, yeah. And I find it very interesting. I really do. So, that is that. And most of all, you know, just love your kids. You have them such a small amount of time in the great scheme of things. Just love them. And the more obnoxious they are and the least they seem that you want to love them is when they need it the most. Just love on them. You know what? At any age, no matter what the issue is, you know, You can just do amazing things if you just hug them. Just hug them. You have the rest of your lives to argue with them. Just love on them. Yeah. Because you'd be surprised how much just a few words matters. Like, you know, when you're being yelled at, and you did this, and I did that, and when I was playing Little League, and you said this, and that. Oh, I'm sorry that you felt that way. And yeah, and then you did this, and that, and this, and then I felt like this. I'm really sorry that you felt that way. That's not what I meant to do. I'm really sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry if that hurt you. That wasn't my plan. And then pretty soon they go, yeah, you know what else? And then you got them. And then you just hug them. And tell them you love them. You'd be surprised how much how diffusing a situation you can do with just, I'm sorry and I love you. That works wonders. I mean, there are people that I know, you know, that were adults with me, you know, were adults that their whole lives, all they waited for was that from their parents. They never got it. And as a result, they're still bitter. They have no discernible relationship with their parents, you know, and it's just really unfortunate. Time is precious, you guys. The older you get, the more precious it is. So please don't waste it. Now, that being said, if you have really toxic people, and I mean really toxic people, yeah, you might need to dial back your involvement with them so that it doesn't spill over onto you and the rest of the people in your life, because nobody gets to do that to you, whether your family or not is immaterial. They don't get to do it. So keep that in mind. And remember, you're Dragonites, so, you know, you already know there's a way they should be treating you and a way they should not be treating you. But it's up to you to insist on it, because if you don't, people are going to take the easy way. So if you've always taken their guff and you haven't pushed back at all, that's what they're going to expect you to do now. And so when you don't do that, oh my goodness, they will try to make you take that stress ball and run with it. Well, if you don't pick up the stress ball, because you won't, because that's on them and not on you, yep, they might have to face some real truths. But either way, you're fine. You're not taking the stress ball. Sorry. Nope, I'm not taking it. Not anymore. I had my fill. Thank you very much. It's all you guys. Enjoy. So, yeah. Your goal is that you need to be okay no matter what. So, if somebody is making you not okay, they don't get to do that. So there you go. Blame me. Tell them you heard it here first. What the heck? Just don't tell them where I live. But yeah, you can tell me. You can tell them that I said so. So, let me know in the comment section, what is the best piece of advice you ever got? And who gave it to you? Because I always think that's interesting. The ones that hit home, the ones that you think about all the time, whether you're making a decision or whether you're not sure what to do, whose voice do you hear telling you what you should be and, you know, how to figure stuff out? Because I always think it's interesting, the people that have a long-lasting effect on you. And, you know, sometimes it's really interesting. It's not the same person. You know, sometimes it's a teacher. Sometimes it's a neighbor. Sometimes, you know, it's just somebody you met. But I like to find that stuff out, because it's interesting. I think the way you can tell good advice from not very good advice is, did it stay with you and do you still think about it? If so, then it was probably good advice. And if it helps your life out, you're golden. It's kind of all you can ask for, isn't it? Right? So yeah. I have about 10 more minutes. So yeah, I don't know if any of you noticed. I just saw today that Diamond Art Club is adding a tariff surcharge to their sale prices. So if the rest of the premium companies are following suit, you guys may have to consider that next time you're purchasing a diamond painting. I don't know what some of the budget-friendly companies are going to do, but the premium companies are definitely doing that. Ginger, enough. Sorry guys, loudmouth dog. Anyway, so yeah, be on the lookout. Be sure that you know what you're being charged. You know, if you are purchasing from a premium company or a budget-friendly company that seems like their prices have changed, double check, because there might be a tariff thing. You know, unfortunately, most of our diamond paintings are manufactured in whole or in part from China. And since we seem to be in a trade war for reasons known only to people in charge, it's affecting the prices of our diamond paintings. So just know that going in, and know that that's, you know, what you're going to be paying on top of the price of your canvas, because the companies are not just going to eat that. They're going to charge you for it. So certainly check and see before you get to check out from your cart and realize, holy cow, what happened while it was in the cart, right? So yeah, that's the whole entire situation. And also, if you are purchasing in your own town, then just, you know, see, I don't know if your merchants are going to, you know, charge for that, or if they're going to figure, well, I already purchased this one, but, you know, maybe in the future they might. You know, just keep tabs on it, Dragonites, because what a difference the tariff charge can make. So, all right, guys, I think I have talked your ear off just about long enough. So I want everybody to have a wonderful week. Don't forget, I need to hear from you in the next 3 days if you're going to be in the I Will Not Desert You event. 25th of April is the cutoff, so don't forget to let me know if you're going to do that. And send me a pic of your canvas. If you're signed up and you haven't sent me a pic, please do that. And remember, always be a dragon. Spread your wings. Protect those you love. Have fiery passion. Stay strong, slay your fears, and always fly high, rise up, and soar. Okay, Dragonites, remember, you should be treated like the magnificent replica of the creature that you are. If anybody gives you any kind of flack, you simply tell them you are not worthy, and you turn and walk away. All right, Dragonites, have a great week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.